The Thanksgiving holiday in the United States is a holiday based on tradition. And one tradition that we have had for now 10 years is this race here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, the original fictional track of NR2003. We come here a day of thankfulness and a day of celebrating in the NR2003 community, and we have done so now for 10 straight years. This here is the 10th running of the NR2003 Thanksgiving 500. 42 drivers in the field as always for 50 laps around this 3-mile super speedway in Concord, Massachusetts. It's one of the best traditions that we have on the channel. It is the best tradition we have on the channel, and it is one of my favorite races to run every single year. We are back again on Thanksgiving morning here in 2024. It's the 10th annual Thanksgiving 500. Let's see who gets the job done for the 10th running of this race. It's gonna be a special one here today at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone living in the States here today. And I know that not everyone in this race is from the States celebrating American Thanksgiving, but we hope you have a wonderful day as you always do. And we hope you enjoy today's event. This, the 10th annual NR2003 Thanksgiving 500, originally ran under the NRLOA, then under the NOFSRL, but for the past few years it has been run as an independent race, and a race to celebrate this wonderful community that I am so thankful for, that the two gentlemen alongside me I'm sure are very thankful for as well. And I'm thankful for all you guys here this morning on Thanksgiving morning for the 10th running of this great race, and so much history in this race. We have been doing this race since the beginning of the channel. We actually ran this in 2014. It is not canon. It does not exist. I don't remember who won it, so this here is officially the 10th running of this Thanksgiving 500. We have done it every single year since 2015, technically since 2014, and it's hard to believe we're still doing it after all of this time. Joined alongside two of my greatest friends in the year 2003 community, and of course, I gotta have these guys in the booth now for this race because they are two of the best in the community as well. Andrew Miller and Caleb Rose. And Andrew, I'm going to start off with you. Of course, I've known you since 2017. You've been a part of this race for many years yourself. But what does this race and what does this community mean to you as we're here for the 10th time here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, of course, Alex, you know that I was big into doing these offline races for the better part of throughout pretty much 2018, and was able to really have fun with it and the community as well. And while I've fallen off of that part of things, getting to do these races with you is always an absolute blast. Of course, you're a good friend as well. So that's always a pleasure in its own right. But getting to call this race and knowing that it's the 10th running, canonically that is, it's seriously, it's really, really cool. I'm so glad to be up here and calling it alongside you, calling it alongside, of course, our other gentleman who will be introduced here in a moment. I seriously can say on Thanksgiving Day here, I am thankful for you, Alex. I'm thankful for getting the opportunity to call this thing and also be in it at the same time. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of fun calling it the last year or two, I think, as well. So thank you for having me up here.
You're in here. Thank you a lot on this day. So, we do apologize, but it is Thanksgiving after all. And Caleb, of course, you've been a part of this channel, been a part of this whole NR community for about 4 or 5 years now, but obviously you are a huge part to this channel, and everything that you see behind the scenes and all of that, I could not do this whole project without you, Caleb, anymore. But, hey, great to have you in the race and in the booth as always. It's actually the first race I've called with you in a while, so great to have you back in the booth, of course. But what does this race mean to you, Caleb? Of course, I know the NR community is a big thing for you, but what are you most thankful for with this whole project and everything that it has brought you here the past few years?
Yeah, the NR community definitely means a lot to me. I kind of stumbled upon this whole NR 2003 community around 2020 when I was kind of struggling with myself a little bit, and I met a lot of new people who share the same interest in this good old NASCAR game from 20 or so years ago. And like I said, I met a ton of new people, a ton of long-lasting friends, and course, I met you and Andrew, and I'm so thankful that I got to meet both of you. And man, it's been a lot of fun these past couple of years, and it's been even more fun being able to help you with all the stuff on the channel, to be a part of this channel, and like I said, to kind of give back to the community that gave so much to me. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this one. It's a big staple here on the channel, and can't wait to call this one once again. Last year's race was a lot of fun to be up in the booth for. Can't wait for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, the 10th annual running of this race. It's been going on for a while. Kind of hard to think that this has been going on for 10 years. But hey, it's the 10th one, so let's make this the best one. How about that?
And it's going to be a good one, too. And, we're going to start moving towards talking about this race. Of course, 42 drivers in the field, and this is a very strong field as well. Only one driver making their first career start. That's Ryan Trevino, starting 7th here today. And one thing I've been talking about leading into this race all week long is I want to see a long-time veteran go to victory lane. Past few races have been won by drivers, some of them in their first career starts. As a matter of fact, 3 drivers have won this race in their first career start. Jordan Lopez, Bradley Atkins, and last year with Brett Hill. Well, none of them are in this race here today. As a matter of fact, only 2 defending Thanksgiving 500 champions are in this field. Sergio Larvin Alonso, who won the first one back in 2015, and Nicholas Samedeo, who won it in 2017. Who can forget that moment when he blew his engine right at the line to get that race victory? You guys saw that short a couple of days ago with that one. What a race that was. And hey, both of those drivers are in this race, but so are 40 other drivers, and they're all looking to win this 10th running of the Thanksgiving 500s. And not only is it the Thanksgiving 500, it's the 10th running of this race, so it's a special one for us here on the channel. It is one of the longest running races that we have, one of the longest running events, and it is essentially the same thing that it always has been. Obviously, in the ratings era that we have with the Wawa Cup Series, things are so much different, so much more robust with a lot of the other projects we do on the channel. But this race is equal ratings. All 42 drivers have the same ratings. Now, granted, there is still a range, so they're not going to all be equal as the race goes along, but everyone has an equal opportunity at going to victory lane here today. And it really doesn't matter where you start in this race either. Of course, we had ourselves the qualifier races last night under the lights. BB Ruiz and John Andrews were the respective winners of those races, and Ruiz had the faster race, so he gets to start on the pole position here today. But Andrew, I'm going to start off with you. What do you need to do to win this race? It's a crazy race. We're going to have 2 cycles of pit stops here today, and you got to be in position. But what do you have to do to make sure you're in position late in the running here in this 50-lap event at Coca-Cola Superspeedway?
Well, I got to think, as has usually been the case at a lot of super speedway races within NR2003, the bottom lane is king. That will be how you're going to make up ground if you're starting at the middle or the back of the field. It's the best way to try to defend positions if you're toward the front. Of course, with these guys going at such high speeds on such a high bank, I mean, you got to have some room to take the natural line, but you got to hold the inside lane if you're going to hold track position. So that's going to be key. 2 pit stops, so you've got to execute that. Pit stops do have a tendency to really separate the field. So if you execute on pit road and you come down with the right group, and then you can come out with in the lead pack and perhaps less cars around you to worry about. If you lose the lead pack at that point, well, then you're going to be hoping for a caution or something at that point. So execution on pit road and defending that inside line, and just keep the car in one piece. These things are going to be flying around this track. So just got to keep it pointed in the right direction above all else.
And Caleb, with that in mind, of course, this is a very, very fast race. Some of the highest averaging miles per hour of any race on the channel, including the entirety of the IndyCar series. So I'm sorry, Caleb, I do actually still run the fastest race on the channel here. But you're starting in the 6th position, and yes, we do have Caleb and Andrew in this race as well. We make that exception for this race specifically just because of how special it is. But you're on that outside lane. What do you need to do starting in the outside lane for this race to get onto that inside lane and have an opportunity of moving up through the field as this race goes along?
I think, kind of going off of what Andrew said, I think this race is really going to be decided on pit road, especially if this thing stays green. Strategy is probably going to be the ultimate decider for this thing, like we see in a lot of IRL superspeedway races, especially Daytona. when it goes green, we see everybody kind of spread out after pit cycles, and usually the front pack after all that's where you want to be. So you want to try to set yourself up in a good position, strategy-wise, to kind of get yourself up into that lead pack later in the going. But, like I said, also, it is a super speedway, of course. These guys are going to be going fast around here. So I think another big thing is just going to be keeping your car clean for the most part. Never really know what can happen at these big super speedways.
And of course, last year we only had one caution. There is a possibility this race could go caution-free, but we'll just have to see. If we do get a wreck, it's probably going to be pretty big. But hey, at the end of the day, it is just a video game. No one's actually in these cars, and everyone's still going to enjoy Thanksgiving dinner once we are done here today. All right, we've done enough talking. Let's go ahead and get to the starting lineup for this race, and then we'll go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here from the Coca-Cola Superspeedway here in the 10th Annual Thanksgiving 500. Starting 42nd in the number 88 in his first Thanksgiving 500, Duncan Ward. Starting 41st in the 02 in his second Thanksgiving 500, Avery Alford. Starting 40th in the number 71 in his first Thanksgiving 500, Felix Mayer. Starting 39th in the number 11 in his third Thanksgiving 500, Braden Perez. Starting 38th in the number 12 in her first Thanksgiving 500, Haley Anderson Jr. Starting 37th in the number 42 in his second Thanksgiving 500, Bradley Green. Starting 36th in the number 90 in his fifth Thanksgiving 500, Brennan Wellington. Starting 35th in the number 1 in his first Thanksgiving 500, Anthony Hernandez. Starting 34th in the 00 in her second Thanksgiving 500, Ladovic Charette. Starting 33rd in the number 21 in his 8th Thanksgiving 500, Stuart Gratton. Starting 32nd in the number 24 in his 3rd Thanksgiving 500, Blaine Keys. Starting 31st in the number 18 in his 3rd Thanksgiving 500, Aaron Abel. Starting 30th in the number 28 in his first Thanksgiving 500, Bryce Egan. Starting 29th in the number 43 in his second Thanksgiving 500, Angel Gutierrez. Starting 28th in the number 77 in his fifth Thanksgiving 500, Andrew Miller. Starting 27th in the number 75 in his first Thanksgiving 500, Matt Black. Starting 26th in the number 31 in his third Thanksgiving 500, Joe Rutkowski. Starting 25th in the number 7 in his second Thanksgiving 500, Rogel Dorn. Starting 24th in the number 66 in his sixth Thanksgiving 500, Ryan Durrani. Starting 23rd in the number 10 in his third Thanksgiving 500, Travis Crampton. Starting 22nd in the number 8, the 2017 winner of the Thanksgiving 500 and the all-time winningest driver on the channel, Nicholas Samadio. Starting 21st in the number 94 in his third Thanksgiving 500, Eli Bright. Starting 20th in the number 17 in his first Thanksgiving 500, Matthew Burnett. Starting 19th in the number 99 in her first Thanksgiving 500, Marcia Veblist. Starting 18th in the number 50 in his 6th Thanksgiving 500, Shane Lake. Starting 17th in the 01 in their 2nd Thanksgiving 500, Roberto Crown Jr. Starting 16th in the number 22 in his 1st Thanksgiving 500, Josh Marzak. Starting 15th in the number 93 in his 1st Thanksgiving 500, Leonard Kochmer. Starting 14th in the number 97 in his 7th Thanksgiving 500, Nathan Stapleton. Starting 13th in the number 20 in his 6th Thanksgiving 500, Ace Garcia. Starting 12th in the number 44 in his 2nd Thanksgiving 500, Josh Williamson. Starting 11th in the number 14 in her 3rd Thanksgiving 500, Daisy Johnson. Starting 10th in the number 40 in his 1st Thanksgiving 500, Skep Silver. Starting 9th in the number 26 in his 1st Thanksgiving 500, Matthew Hubert. Starting 8th in the number 6 in his 2nd Thanksgiving 500, Michael Lewis. Starting 7th in the number 60 in his 1st Thanksgiving 500, Ryan Trevino. Starting 6th in the number 32 in his 3rd Thanksgiving 500, Caleb Rose. Starting 5th in the number 2 in her 1st Thanksgiving 500, Dylan Matthews. Starting 4th in the number 4 in his 5th Thanksgiving 500, Eric Monaco. Starting 3rd in the number 5, the winner of the 2015 Thanksgiving 500 in his 9th Thanksgiving 500, Hergel Arvin Alonso. Starting 2nd in the number 25, winner of the first qualifier race last evening in his 6th Thanksgiving 500, John Andrews. And the pole sitter for the 2024 Thanksgiving 500, winner of the 2nd qualifier race last evening in the number 9 in his 1st Thanksgiving 500, BB Ruiz. And there is your starting lineup for the 10th annual Thanksgiving 500. There's 42 drivers in this race, and some of them were even in the first one, including Blaine Keys, Nicholas Sambidio, and Hergel Arvin Alonso. Excited to see all these drivers here today. Of course, you have BB Ruiz and John Andrews on the front row, Hergel Arvin Alonso and Eric Monaco there in row number 2. We got Dylan Matthews to the inside of Caleb Rose there in row number 3. The 60th Ryan Trevino to the inside of the 6 machine driven by Michael Lewis. And then the 26th, that car driven by Matthew Hubert to the inside of Skep Silver in his first Thanksgiving 500 in the number 40. Make sure everyone is rolling off okay. And we've got ourselves a lot of strong drivers in this field. Andrew and then Caleb, who's winning the 10th annual Thanksgiving 500 here on this Thanksgiving morning?
I'm going with experience here. I'm going to say number 20, Ace Garcia. Starting on that inside lane, I think in a pretty good spot to try to keep some good track position when those pit stops do roll around, and maybe come a little bit forward here, being on the inside. So I'm liking that number 20 for Ace Garcia in the Joe Gibbs colors.
I definitely got to agree with Andrew there. I think, like you mentioned pre-race, past couple of seasons, this race has pretty much been dominated by rookies, a lot of them in their first career starts. But we got a strong field here today, and I think we might see some experience coming out on top today. And I think I'm going to take the 31 of Joe Rutkowski to get it done here today. I think this is his first Thanksgiving 500 since 2019, I think. Mm-hmm. So nice to see him back, and I think he's going to get it done here today.
We'll just have to see what he can do. Well, hey, Well, let's see how they're all going to do here, because we're about to take the green flag for the 10th time in this Thanksgiving 500. Here we go. We're green flag racing. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We're green in the Thanksgiving 500 at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. Well, an exhilarating first lap to this race. As always, it's Dylan Matthews who's going to lead lap number 1 here in the Thanksgiving 500 to the inside. Matthew Hubert in the 26. Here comes Daisy Johnson in the 14. We had her agent, Matt Tuck, in the booth last night for the qualifier races. She finished second in this race a year ago. And here's your pick, Andrew. Ace Garcia to the inside. And Marcia Vebalist in the 99 on the inside. She made a couple starts in the Lenovo Pro Series, if I'm not mistaken, Caleb. A few of these guys have been making starts in the Lenovo Pro Series and really are in their first big race here today. And they got the 01 Roberto Crowd Jr. still going for their first career win on the channel. And then, Caleb, there you are on the inside in the 32 machine, making some headway on that inside lane. But a good start to this race, a nice clean start to this race, and Matthew Hubert's going to lead lap 2 here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway.
Just so much shuffling around already. I knew we were going to see some shuffling, especially here in the early laps. I didn't think it was going to be quite to this degree, but my goodness, it's like the pole sitter is already. Oh my gosh, where is the
not to be seen?
Oh, there she is. I see her there. So just outside top 10 though. But man, just all the movement that we're already seeing. I know that they'll start to get it sorted out as we are already starting to see. But a lot of different, a lot of changes for position. Already a few different leaders, and yeah, I think that will continue to play out here for at least the next few laps.
And of course, last night we saw a lot of these guys overshoot the corner and scrape the outside wall. As I mentioned last night, we're not going to see that here in this race here today. A lot more grip on this racetrack, which means a lot more speed. And already only 3 laps into this race, 233 miles per hour on the average there. As Marcia Vebalist leads this race, and that was tight right there. Bibi Ruiz got shoveled in the middle there with the 43 Angel Gutierrez there. That was a tight one. We actually saw the wreck last night, even though it did not bring out a caution down the backstretch. Thankfully, they keep it together for now. We got Caleb Rose. How about you, Caleb? In the booth and in the car as well at the same time. You know, and as I said, this is still a video game, so we're allowed to play pretend a little bit, but had a great run in the qualifier last night. Matt Tuck was very impressed with your run there, and here you are running in the 3rd position. And we've got to mention the man that really broke the internet a couple nights ago, or a couple weeks ago when he signed up. Josh Marzak in the 22. What a name to be back for this race here in the big 2024, I tell ya. 2-time Daytona 500 champion. All 3 of his wins on the channel have come on Superspeedway, so he's in his wheelhouse right now, running in the 5th position as Marcia Vebalist holding on to the race lead in the 99 right now here on lap number 5.
Vebalist doing a good job so far in that 99. Kind of pulling away just a little bit, but still kind of keeping the field at bay. And yeah, like Andrew kind of said earlier, we're seeing a lot of shuffling going on throughout the field. Honestly, kind of surprising me too. And we're going 3 wide there for 3rd as Dylan Matthews trying to make her way back up towards the front after kind of getting shuffled out there after the early stages. But yeah, like you said, nice to see Josh Marzak back. And like you said, this is his wheelhouse here at Superspeedway, so who knows, maybe he can go to victory lane here today. We'll just have to wait and see. But going down the back straightaway, here comes the number 7, Rogel Dorn, looking 3 wide inside for the 2nd position. We know Rogel Dorn is really good at Superspeedways as well, so definitely no surprise to see him up front here so far.
And how about our man Stuart Cratton? Stuart has been in this race. Oh no, we got someone around in the back, and they're through the pit lane. That's Bradley Ream and the 44 machine of Josh Williamson. And I don't know, will this trigger a caution? It will not, because they are in the pit lane. They are not on the racing surface, and therefore we remain green. Both drivers will come down the pit right there. And I think they were the only two caught up in that as well. So good eye there, Caleb. I did not see that happen. And now we got up front Matthew Huber looking to the inside of Marcia Veplist for the race lead. 18 machine to the inside as well. That's Aaron Abel. Got the 11 of Braden Perez who started deep in the field. And here's Mr. Edge, looking to become the first ever two-time winner of this race. Nicholas Sambadio won it all the way back in 2017 in this exact ride. Well, hey, Dale Jr.'s in this exact ride now on a late model. Maybe that's a little bit of good luck for Sambadio on this one, as the double zero Ladovic Charrette's got an issue.
Oh, no.
Massive issue on Ladovic Charrette. It has just been a bad couple of weeks for Ladovic here on the channel, and if she doesn't get back around, we could end up getting a caution triggered because of that as well. She got caught up, I do believe, in the wreck last night. Either that or she just was off the pace. Can't remember which duel she was in last night for the qualifiers, but that's a tough break for her. It looks like both Williamson and Bradley Reed back out there. And with that, I do believe they will remain on the lead lap. No, they are a lap down. They are a lap down at this point. All right. Well, you know, we just never know what's going to happen in this race. It got really crazy right there. Ladovic is down the pit lane, and she is done. She is not going to have an opportunity this one. And you got the 44 there of Josh Williamson a lap down. And Bradley Ream is actually on the tail end of the lead lap currently. So, interesting to see all that shake out. Braden Perez out front. Dylan Matthews, Nicholas Sambadio, Matthew Huber, Josh Marzak, 28 machine. First time we're seeing Bryce Egan in this race today. And then the 32 right behind him. Caleb Rose still in the top 10. All right, Andrew, it's calmed down. What you seeing right now here in this race is we're almost a fifth of the way through this Thanksgiving 500.
Yeah, it's been a little chaotic there, but yeah, as you said, things may have settled for a little bit. I'm seeing someone else who started pretty deep but has now come forward, and no surprise, it's the 24 Blaine Keys. Seeing that Rainbow Warrior up there, and of course with it being Blaine, I'm not surprised at all. Into the inside there of the 88 of Duncan Ward, and coming forward. But yeah, how about Mr. Edge possibly looking to take the lead here shortly from the 11? No surprise. But how neat is that? That in 10 years of running this thing, there has not been a multi-time winner yet.
Yeah, it's happened in the Daytona 500. It's happened in the Indy 250. Both of those races actually happened twice. Not yet in the Thanksgiving 500. But Nicholas Sambadio and Hergel Arvin Alonso both have an opportunity here today. And Mr. Edge taking the race lead here in the Thanksgiving 500 as they close in on Bradley Ream, who is off the pace because of that incident. He is going to go a lap down there in the 42 machine in his return to the Thanksgiving 500, his first Thanksgiving 500 since 2019. It's definitely been an eventful one for him. And now you have Nicholas Sambadio, Braden Perez, Dylan Matthews, Caleb Rose, Blaine Keys. This is what I wanted to see here today. And no offense to the first-timers that run. We absolutely love it when you come on here and you do not use a burner account, of course. And, you know, those guys who are first-timers, they've had a lot of success the past few years. We're ready. We're ready for a Nicholas Sambadio, a Braden Perez, a Caleb Rose. I'm sure you'd love to hear that one, Caleb, here today, getting this race victory in this Thanksgiving 500. But how about Nicholas Sambadio? Very fitting for him to be leading this 10th running of this race. And we're about halfway through this first field run as well, so if you're one of these first guys who's up front at the moment, you're going to have a good opportunity at pacing this race as we move through here in this 50-lap event.
Definitely can't think of anyone better to be up front than that Ada Nicholas Sambadio. Like you said, looking to become the first driver to win multiple Thanksgiving 500s, and honestly, I can't even think of anybody more deserving than Sambadio. You know the career he's had on the channel. And, I mean, you know the legacy of Sambadio and Mr. Edge, so wouldn't that be something?
Duncan Ward! Oh my goodness.
That was a bit too close for comfort there. And now we have another lap car to deal with. Josh Williamson, I believe, there in the 44. Looks like the field's going to be able to dive
44 and 42, they're going to regain the draft here, but this could be dicey. Oh, that 44 is off the pace. Ooh, that got really dicey right there, and some of these guys are going to get shuffled back. No one has really lost the draft yet in this race except for those caught up in that one accident, and then, of course, Ladovic Charrette in the 00 with her issue. And we only have those three drivers a lap down or more. Everybody else is still in the lead draft with Avery Alford, the last driver there. You got the one machine of Anthony Hernandez. This was the car that won 8 years ago with Jordan Lopez, by the way. And still shuffling, trying to get around Josh Williamson, but he might be a factor as this race goes along. But how about the top two, who've kind of pulled away a little bit here? Nicholas Samadeo and Braden Perez kind of swapping positions. Of course, Matthew Hubert, Duncan Ward, who he's ready to win a race. He has not had a good season in the Truck Series. Well, here he is running 4th right now. And then you got the 66 machine. First time we have seen Ryan Durrani here today. This is another driver who's been in this race many years. His 6th Thanksgiving 500 for Durrani. And here he is running top 5 right now here, 14 laps into this race. Nicholas Samadeo back around Braden Perez. He's back out front on lap 14 here in this Thanksgiving 500. Matthew Hubert to the inside of Braden Perez there for 2nd.
Yeah, a bit of a soft spot for me personally for driver now up to 5th place Durrani, considering who I'm driving for next season. But man, yeah, that lap traffic, it didn't look like it was going to cause this much of a spread out. But
Ledovic's back out there.
Look at this. Ledovic's coming back out. You might as well give it a go. Try to finish the big race. But man, they got really spread out. And I'll be surprised, to be honest, if they actually manage to close back up because of just how the draft works at these speeds. I think it's going to be harder to close in on the guys in front of you when they're spaced out like this. You're drafting at about the maximum speed that you can go, and you got these guys shuffling back here. So I think we'll just have to see what pit stops are going to do here, which should be fairly soon. I would imagine about 5 laps from now, from what you were saying.
Yeah, it's Skep Silver here on the 40. His first ever Thanksgiving 500. Has been running in the Truck Series. He's had a pretty solid season. This used to be your ride, Andrew. The only Dodge in the field. Making some moves back in there. Marcia Vebelis trying to get back to the inside of Blaine Keys right there. Blaine going a little wide. You got Brendan Wilmington, who was runner-up 4 years ago in this race, to Mark Davidson. Of course, Brendan Wilmington would love to get his first career win as a driver himself. Of course, his driver, Vinny Scholes, has had much success. Won the Lenovo Pro Series Championship last year. Back out front, it's still Mr. Edge. He has led the most laps so far in this race, and look at that average miles per hour that we have, 239.016. It's like an IndyCar race out here. It is very unrealistic, to be honest, but it is such a fun racetrack to run this race at. And my goodness, every year we always have some amazing things happen. We've already had some amazing things go on so far in this race. Here's BB Ruiz. He was the pole sitter for this event, to the inside there of the 2 of Dylan Matthews, and got the 16 of Michael Lewis. Great to see Michael Lewis back. It's been a while since he's made a start on the channel. I think he made a couple starts in the Lenovo Pro Series before he got to this one, but he is running top 10 right now with an opportunity in this one. And about Brendan Wilmington, of course, Blaine Key's going to be driving for Brendan in the Wall Cup Series next season. I know Brendan's very excited about that. I know Blaine's excited about that as well. And Blaine, he's one of these guys, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Regain that points lead back in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Of course, we'll see what happens tomorrow night at Chicagoland, but Blaine Keys really wants that truck championship after what happened to him in the Wall Cup Series, and this win right here would be an awesome way to get his 26th career win on the channel, if I do say so myself. How about these guys shuffling through? How about Duncan Ward in the 88, looking to get to the inside of Samadeo, who's got a huge run. Will he try it on the backstretch? He will not. Hubert to the inside. Ryan Durrani's up here as well. Braden Perez. We got 5 guys who have pulled away, and they're led by the winningest driver on the channel. 30 career wins coming into this one for Nicholas Samadeo, looking for number 31 here today in Massachusetts.
Samadeo definitely looking fast so far this race, but I'll tell you who else is definitely looking fast, at 88 of Duncan Ward, pulling right up to the back bumper there through 3 and 4. Had a good rally there through turns 1 and 2 that last time by. Looked to maybe try and make a move, and unfortunately the 26 of Matthew Hubert kind of beat him to the draw there and tried to make a move on the 88. But Ward's back clear once again for the 2nd position. Maybe he has something for our race leader, Nicholas Samadeo. We'll have to wait and see. But got a 4-ish car breakaway right now for the race lead, and the rest of the field's really starting to string out here. Kind of like how we predicted pre-race, but probably that is a good thing, because sooner or later we should start seeing these guys come down for pit stops, and there you are, Andrew, making some moves on the racetrack. That's always nice to see.
And of course, too, if we get a caution, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Samadeo going to lead them down for the first cycle, and we're going to follow with these guys right here because, hey, pit lane's very important. Just ask Blaine Keys in the 24. You know how that ended up going for him a couple weeks ago. Nicholas Samadeo here leading them down the pit lane. He's got one of the further back pit stalls. He did not start up too high in this race and not run too well in the qualifier last night, but it's also going to be a 4-tire stop for these guys as well, I do believe. And, you know, even though we're running 240 miles per hour on average, of course, with that speed, it's going to wear out the tire a little bit, and you want to have as much grip as you can to run those speeds. Blaine Keys is already done with his stop right there. And a clean stop there for Nicholas Samadeo as the rest of these guys coming down right here. Braden Perez staying on another lap right here. And this is where they've got to be careful when they got these amount of drivers coming down. Contact between Dylan Matthews and Duncan Ward. I've seen worse in this race before, but Dylan Matthews does have some damage to her front hood right there. We got Brendan Wilmington and the 75 machine of Matt Black getting into each other back in there. A lot of contact as these guys are trying to switch lanes all the way back on the outside. You know, just some contact, but no major we got some contact here. Roberto Crown Jr. and the 50 machine of Shane Lake. Shane Lake was up front at this race last year, and he's got damage in the 50 machine. That's one thing about this place. This pit lane, even as big as it is a difficult one to get in and out of. And these guys tend to struggle just a little bit here in doing so. We're going to have some cars with some damage because of that, so we'll have to see how it all ends up shaking out. First drivers coming off here, Ryan Durrani and Bryce Egan. But imagine Braden Perez is coming down the pit lane right now, and then you got Nicholas Samadeo, who was the first one off of the first drivers who came down the pit lane. We'll have to see if he has the speed. They're 4 wide off the pit lane. Whoa. Alonzo, Skep Silver, Josh Marzak, and hello, Andrew Miller. You're looking pretty dangerous on this Thanksgiving morning. Gonna get the advantage of those guys right there.
I'm glad I accelerated. I was getting a little nervous. But
speaking of accelerating, it almost seems like the 99's off the paces a little bit. It takes a while for these guys to get going to their respective speeds. Ryan Durrani looks like he's going to be the one who wins out, though Samadeo still has the speed, and he's going to take the lead away from Durrani right there. And we got through the first cycle of pit stops cleanly for the most part. Shane Lake, Brennan Wilmington did not, unfortunately. They're on the pit lane, and they are going to fall back in the running order. It's a tough break for those drivers. But so far, it's a clean sweep for Nicholas Samadeo in this 8 machine, looking to steal this race victory here today at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. Braden Perez, Nathan Stapleton, we have the 17 of Matthew Burnett right here, John Andrews, Ace Garcia, and then the 94 of Eli Bright. Great to have Eli Bright back in this race here today. But it's going to cycle to Samadeo. Leading this race here at Coca-Cola after the first cycle of pit stops with Durrani, Bryce Egan, and Matthew Hubert. The top 4 with Braden Perez. I think he's going to be 5th once it all cycles through. But a great stop there to Nicholas Samadeo.
Yeah, I would say so. And it's as we were saying, kind of execute on pit road, and that is exactly what the 8 team did. Durrani did that fantastically. And the 28, great to see things work out there for Bryce Egan. So yeah, 3-car breakaway. The 26 is just clinging on. And then you've got 2. And then, my goodness, pretty much everyone else. So, I knew it was going to spread things out.
Haley Anderson Jr. in the 12. It has not been a good weekend for her here in the Thanksgiving 500. Shuffling to try to get around her right there. She got in the wall very hard last night. Sent her to a pretty poor starting position, and that engine just expired in the middle of the pack right there for her. I still don't think it's going to trigger a yellow flag, though. She's on the apron right now and kind of lagging back right there. It's a tough break for Haley Anderson Jr. Has had some good runs over there in the Lenovo Pro Series as of late. Not going to be a good run for her here today in the Thanksgiving 500. And they got around Josh Williamson again.
Boy.
Bryce Egan just took the race lead away. And Matthew Huber got held up right there. And Samadeo actually had lost the lead before they got to him right there. And it was Durrani who led that last lap. But Bryce Egan now taking the race lead. But Samadeo's still there in the 8 machine. You know he wants this. Even though he has more wins on the channel than anybody else, you know he wants this Thanksgiving 500 win here today. He wants to be the first to get 2 Thanksgiving 500s. He was the first to get 2 Indy 250s. He wants to get the Thanksgiving 500 for a second time here today. But Ryan Durrani, I know he'd love to win this race. I know all these guys would love to win this race, but someone like Durrani, I know you'd love to see Durrani get it done, Andrew. Guy who's been in this race for 6 years now. He is running. He has got a very good opportunity to get him this win here today. His next time by, we're going to be halfway through this Thanksgiving 500 already, with Bryce Egan leading the field in the 28. And there is the 2 of Dylan Matthews. Remember, she had her contact on the pit lane. She's way off the pace in the 2 machine. These guys have to be careful. It's like we're at Daytona with these lap cars here today. And they got to be careful right here. Blaine Keach just got into Dylan Matthews and almost took himself out.
That was close there for Keys. Kind of reminds me what happened to Shane Lake in the Christmas Eve Showdown last year. And it was the same. It was the same car too, the number 24. That was a close call there, but it looks like they're going to keep it straight.
And someone. No, Caleb.
We got a caution.
Caleb. Oh no, that was you. You see, you didn't learn from last year. You can't commentate and drive at the same time. Heavy damage on the 32 machine, and heavy damage on John Andrews' machine. And I have a feeling this may have been a lapped car that got in the way, and these guys were just closing in way too fast. Well, it's a mid-race break here in the Thanksgiving 500, and once again, we will not go caution-free in this race. Ryan Durrani, your race leader, Nicholas Samadillo, Bryce Egan, Matthew Hubert, Blaine Keys, the top 5. This is interesting. You come down now, you're still going to have to come down again, and that last pit stop's going to be with about 4 or 5 laps to go in the race, so what do you do right here? Let's see how it all ends up shaking out. Gonna stay out.
Everybody.
Nobody. Ace Garcia, and here we go. We're gonna have a split strategy in this race, folks.
Boy.
This could get interesting as this race goes along. Now, still, everyone's gonna have to make 2 stops in this race. I think for Garcia and these guys, they're gonna try to stretch it and maybe catch another caution to maybe stretch it even further. So we'll have to see that ends up being the case for him right there. And Eric Monaco in the back of the field right there. Of course, congratulations once again to Monaco on that truck win on Saturday. That was a big win for that team, Tanner Parton Motorsports. So sorry to spoil it for you guys, but neither of you won at Road America this past Saturday.
I'm not surprised.
All right, well, it's even worse for you, Caleb, because you got caught up in this wreck. We're going to see what you did, man. Tough break there for Caleb Rose. John Andrews caught up in this one. John Andrews, of course, won last night in the qualifier. He's not going to win here today in the main race. Let's see what happened to Caleb Rose and John Andrews to bring out the first caution of the day here in the 2024, the 10th annual Thanksgiving 500. Caleb. This is why we don't have commentators who are also driving in the race sometimes. This is a very interesting moment back here. You got BB Ruiz in the 9 and Caleb Rose in the 32 trying to get around him, and Matthew Burnett in the 17 taking advantage, and Caleb just not checking his mirrors. And John Andrews sends the 32 to the Shadow Realm with that one. Upside down goes Caleb Rose down the backstretch right there, and that right there is good enough for our first caution of the day. A wild ride for the Tide Ride here on this Thanksgiving morning. Tough break for John Andrews. Of course, a tough break for Caleb Rose as well. And, yeah, that's definitely one of the moments that you're going to get here at Coca-Cola Superspeedway. No surprise to see yet another flip in this race. I think we've had a flip in every edition of this race, actually. And it's a pretty standard thing on this racetrack. Tough break for Caleb Rose and John Andrews, but the race must go on. But first, we'll go ahead and replay this in real time.
This one might rank a bit high on the oopsie-daisy scale. Might have got a bit too busy commentating and forgot to check my mirrors there and going into the wall. Unfortunately, took out the 25 there at John Andrews. I apologize for that. But isn't the first time I've been upside down in a stock car. Luckily got that out of the way in the first ever NR series that I was in. But, yeah, real unfortunate end of our day there. And, yeah, like I said, unfortunate there for John Andrews. But going to be interesting here is we got a caution just past halfway, I believe. So this could get interesting for the strategy.
And we had some drivers come down right here. Majority of them stayed out, so going to be a very interesting cycle once we get back to racing. Let's get back to racing. Ryan Durrani is your race leader. Let's see what he does on set restart here in the 2024 Thanksgiving 500. We are back here on Thanksgiving morning at Concord, Massachusetts, and the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And something I just realized, there may have been a strategic play in these drivers staying out because, well, they're not going to make it. They came down on lap 28. They ain't going to make 30 laps even with the caution laps. They're still going to have 21 laps to go when we get back to racing. I don't know what I was thinking right there. There's no way they're going to make that. And even the guys who came down the pit lane, they were led by Ace Garcia initially, and I believe Ace Garcia did win the race off the pit lane of those guys who did top off under the caution. Ludovic Chorat, she is multiple laps down in this race because of the tire issue earlier on. She's actually still last in the field. Haley Anderson Jr. will be out, and she will officially finish last in this race, and then John Andrews and Caleb Rose are also officially out of the race. Multiple laps down or a lap down include Dylan Matthews, Bradley Ream, Josh Williamson. Of course, Ream and Williamson got caught up in that wreck earlier that did not bring out a caution. And then you have the 50 machine of Shane Lake and the 90 of Brendan Williamson, who got into it on pit lane. And both of those drivers are 5 laps down. Everybody else, however, is still on the lead lap. 33 drivers still on the lead lap, and that's only with 1 caution somehow. So it has been a race of attrition back in there. But they're led by Ryan Durrani in the 66, his 6th Thanksgiving 500. Nicholas Sanvideo in his 8th Thanksgiving. Oh no, he's in his 9th. No, he's in his 8th. Alonso's the one who's in his has 9. He's the only one who has 9. Bryce Egan, Matthew Hubert, Blaine Keys, Braden Perez, Dylan Matthews, of course, is a lap down, and she also has damage to that car, so watch out for Ruggle Dorn. 18 machine there of Aaron Abel. Michael Lewis in the 6 and BB Ruiz in the 9. They're going to get held up here on the restart, and the top 6 are going to pull away. Here we go, back underway in the Thanksgiving 500, and Ryan Durrani trying to hold on to the race lead here with 21 laps to go.
Standing out here, they're trying to get by the 2. I did see, Caleb, your pick coming forward a little bit here, the 31, Joe Rutkowski. So even though you might be out of the race, I mean, yeah, you still got a horse in this thing with that 31, and yeah, I think this is the farthest forward that we've seen him thus far. So that's cool to see. See if he can use that inside lane to his advantage.
Back to the lead. Durrani still holding on. Great restart for Ryan Durrani. That 66 is very strong here today. You got Bryce Egan, Blaine Keys, and Braden Perez. You know, it's Blaine Keys and Nicholas Sanvideo again. The 2 rivals over there in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, and here they are in the Thanksgiving 500 going after it. You gotta love it. Caution. And another yellow flag in this race. Was it Shane Lake and Josh Marzak? Oh, no.
Oh, man.
No.
Way to come back. Ouch.
This first start in over 5 years on the channel. And does not look like he is going to have the best of runs to finish this one out here today. So a quick yellow right there. So back-to-back cautions here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And keep in mind, too, unlike in some of the truck races, cup races, we're not shortening the cautions in this race either. So that's another thing that we're keeping as tradition, even though we got the new thing with the wave around and all that. We will wave around if need be, of course, if that ends up being the case. However, we're not shortening of the cautions here today in this event. Josh Marzak in the 22. That's a tough one right there. And it looks like this may have happened in turn number 3. And now the window is open for everybody. So this is going to be a perfect opportunity for these drivers to come down the pit lane and make it to the end of the race. Though Nathan Stapleton and Ace Garcia and those guys that came down the last time are going to try to stretch it and play some strategy here. So this is going to get really interesting because Stapleton's now going to inherit the race lead. And they can go almost to the end. And maybe if they save enough under the caution, they could stretch it. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. But with everyone right behind them right there, I don't think that's necessarily going to work out the best for him. Here comes Ryan Durrani in the 66. Another 4-tire stop for him right here. We'll see if anyone goes 2 tires. Might try to get some pit strat, or should say track position here on the cycle. We got Sanvideo there, who was 3rd. And he had a long stop right there. 94 got off really quick right there of Eli Bright. We had some guys, I think, that went 2 tires right there, and that's going to jumble up everything. Braden Perez, Aaron Abel, Blaine Keys, Ryan Durrani, Eli Bright, Ryan Trevino there, BB Ruiz, Bryce Egan, and then Nicholas Sanvideo. We got the 10 machine. I have not mentioned Travis Crampton yet in this race. He's still in it in the 10 machine. There's Hubert, there's Stuart Gratton. Josh Williamson is still a lap down, multiple laps down actually, in the 44. And there's Joe Rutkowski in the 31. All right, got another one. And this time it is Josh Marzak in the 22. Got caught up in this one. He will still be in the race, but let's see what happened to bring out the second caution of the day here in the 2024 Thanksgiving 500. Well, Dylan Matthews, one of the lap cars, really not much she can do, really, in this situation. She's just so much off the pace, and Josh Marzak cannot get around her right here, and, you know, give Marzak a little bit of credit. It has been over 5 years since he's run on the channel, so lap traffic, something he's not used to, because he won a lot of those super speedway races back in the day, but, we're not going to slow-mo through the entire way down the backstretch because he's already going so slow. But you're going to see the number 4 machine of Eric Monaco. And a full head of steam trying to get around this 22. Marzak thinks he has the opportunity. And Monaco gets right into that quarter panel of the 22 machine. And there's just no saving that one if you're Josh Marzak. Shane Lake, who was already caught up in that pit road incident with Brendan Wilmington, just gets shuffled up in that one. Not as violent of an accident as the first one with Caleb Rose, thankfully, and Marzak still will be on the lead lap after this, but definitely not the way Marzak wanted to return to racing on the channel. No, he was very excited about his return here, but not going to be a race victory for him today. He's going to have a little bit too much damage, I believe, to really be able to contend for the win as we move on. Let's go ahead and replay this one in real time.
Yeah, the difficulties of lap traffic, and you're just stuck there. And here he thinks that he's got the gap, but the 4 just closes in way too quickly, and around they go. Admittedly, give some credit to the 90 for barely really getting involved in that, despite it being right on his hood. So credit there, but yeah, Shane Lake and yeah, Marzak, that's a bummer right there. When you first come back, and that's what happens to you. That's a bit of a bummer. I mean, I could say the same even for Eli Bright. I haven't heard that name in a long time myself.
He has made a couple of starts this year over in the Sprint Series, though. So you know he's been around over on Joe's side of things a lot as well. So he's still very much active in the NR community. Love to have Eli in this race. But we got Nathan Stapleton now leading this race. He stayed out under this caution right here. And we'll have to see if he's going to have enough to make it to the end. We'll have to see. We got split strategy coming up here with about 18 laps to go in this race. Let's see how it all ends up shaking out here in the 2024 Thanksgiving 500. We are back here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway on Thanksgiving morning. 2 quick cautions right there. And you folks have seen all that has transpired on the racetrack. We have not, so we don't quite know exactly how it all went down. We know Josh Marzak was caught up in this latest caution. However, Marzak is still on the lead lap in 32nd, so we'll have to see what he can do from that position. But it's Nathan Stapleton, and keep in mind, these drivers here, going up to Braden Perez, all stayed out on the last caution here. Actually, I think BB Ruiz also came down the pit lanes, but I know the top 5, they came down under the first caution, trying to stretch it here to the end of this race. It's going to be very fascinating to see if they can do that, or unless something happens, they might not be able to. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Nathan Stapleton, who's also another driver, by the way, who was in the first Thanksgiving 500. That may have been one of his first starts on the channel all the way back in the day as well. Great to have Nathan leading this race. I know you were rooting him on under the caution there, Andrew. Of course, a very good friend of all of ours in the NR community. Ace Garcia is second. Avery Alford, Brendan Wilmington, multiple laps down in the 90 machine because of the contact on the pit lane before any of the cautions. Roberto Crown Jr. is fourth. Matthew Burnett is fifth. Then you got BB Ruiz in the 9. Braden Perez, first driver, off the pit lane. I can't remember. We literally just did it. I think Ruiz was actually on the pit lane and beat everybody off. Then you got Braden Perez, Aaron Abel, Blaine Keys, Ryan Durrani, the top 10. But still, anyone on the lead lap can still win this race as long as they don't have significant damage. And we only got 16 laps left in this Thanksgiving 500 as well, so not much time to get up to the front, but there's still a chance for a lot of these drivers here as we're back underway in the Thanksgiving 500 here for 2024. And Ace Garcia to the inside for the race lead on Nathan Stapleton here at Coca-Cola Superspeedway.
Wasting absolutely no time there. Getting to the inside of the 97. Got a good jump there off of the restart. Now here comes the 02. Avery Alford trying to get up into the second position. And BB Ruiz back there making a lot of moves as well. Your pole sitter looking to get back up towards the front. Maybe have a shot here late in the going. Roberto Crown Jr. I don't really know if there's something up with that 01 car. It doesn't really seem to be up the pace with these guys. Not really sure, but at the very least, definitely did not get going like he would want to there. But this is definitely going to be an interesting run if this stays green, because we now got a lot of different strategies going on throughout the field. Here comes Ruiz trying to get up into the third position.
And I think it's safe to say that those drivers that just came down the pit lane under this last caution, as Eli Bright almost took Brennan Wilmington for a ride right there. Guys like Eli Bright, Nathan Stapleton, Blaine Keys, BB Ruiz, Aaron Abel, they can all make it to the end of this race without having to stop again because they were just down the pit lane right there. You got Ace Garcia, though, still leading this field, but BB Ruiz, who started on pole for this race, kind of fell back initially, back in this thing, as Felix Mayer had an issue. He's back out there, and he is going to be multiple laps down. Once these guys get around him right here, BB Ruiz trying to use Felix Mayer as a pick right here, and the 9 machine gonna not go for it. That's very interesting. Everyone jammed up behind the 9. You got Stapleton, Abel, Alford, and Eli Bright all in a line right here. They're now going to get around the 71 machine. Matthew Hubert still here. Bryce Egan still here. Sam Adeo still here. You know, if he's up front, he's going to have a shot at this race victory. How about Travis Crampton in the 10 machine there? Have not really mentioned him too much. And there's Joe Rakowski as well. A couple of dark horse picks at this point of the race as BB Ruiz takes the race lead away. And coming to 13 laps to go here in this Thanksgiving 500. We've got so many different faces up front at this point, and anybody can get this win here at Coca-Cola.
And I think for a while we were probably thinking that Sam Adeo was going to be the favorite. And well, sure, yeah, he sliced his way back forward here. The competitors around him, I mean the 28's still up there too, but yeah, just a number of different faces back up here fighting for this win. We saw the 26 up there earlier. Of course, we saw the 9 starting on pole. Has not really been too much of a factor ever since dropping back on the first lap. But now back up there. Although now the 26 is going to take it. Here comes the 28, and they are stacked all up. Everyone knows that this is pretty much go time.
And especially for those drivers who came down the pit lane, they know it is go time here. And how about this? The cream rises to the top. These were the 3 of the guys who were up front earlier on, and now they are back up front. You got Bryce Egan leading the field in the 28, Nicholas Samadeo there in second, and Matthew Hubert going to slip back just a little bit. And here we go, Joe Rakowski making some moves, and here we go as well, Stuart Gratton in the 21 machine. I mean, he went well over 2,000 days without a win as a driver on the channel, and since he got that win in the opening race of the Lenovo Pro Series, he has won 4 times, I think. 4 times this year, for his 5th win of the year, and what a win it would be if he could pull it off in his 8th Thanksgiving 500 as Nicholas Samadeo takes the lead away from Bryce Egan. And now 11 laps to go here in the Thanksgiving 500. We're closing in. It is crunch time here in Concord, Massachusetts. Joe Rakowski top 5 right now. Ryan Trevino on the 60 machine trying to keep that streak alive for the first-timers here today.
Oh boy, it's definitely absolutely crunch time here as we're coming at 10 laps to go this time by, and all these drivers are definitely showing it. We got a lot of aggressive moves throughout the field. Here comes Ruiz down to the inside. Here comes the 26 of Hubert, making it 3 wide for the lead, and we got 3 wide 2 rows back here as we got a battle for the lead and a battle for the 4th position, and it looks like they're going to stay side by side for the lead. Nicholas Samadeo is going to fall back a little bit on the outside. Ruiz is going to have a bit of help down the front straightaway. And Stuart Gratton looking maybe inside 3 wide. Not quite able to get down there just yet. Here comes the 99, Mauricio Vebels. We know Vebels is definitely a very aggressive driver. And looking to the inside of 3 wide. Looking to get up into the 2nd position. And here he comes. Here comes Stuart Gratton in the 21. Looking to maybe crack the top 5 here late in the going.
And how about Mauricio Vebels there in the 99 machine? First development driver to Echo Evans-Ross. So not as much experience for her, but Echo, of course, a very solid agent, I guess you can say, and owner in the Truck Series. I think they're still leading in the Truck Series points in the owner standings at the moment. Here we go again, and it's double action this time. Dylan Matthews and Ludovic Shred side by side. Oh, brother, that's not going to work. BB Ruiz had to hit the brakes right there. They're splitting 3 wide. On the outside was Hubert. And both lanes on the inside. It's just like the Wall Cup Series finale. All these guys stuck behind lap traffic. Hubert trying to get on the outside, but Dylan Matthews is going to slide up, and the inside lane. Vebel is going to take the race lead in the 99 machine. And Andrew, what are you doing there? Look at that. 77 Andrew Miller all the way down 4 wide. This may result in an accident. Look at this. Ruiz, Grattan, Stapleton, Trevino, Rutkowski, Blaine Keys, San Mateo all caught up behind the lap traffic right there. And that's just one of the many factors of this race here at this Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And it might be too late for these guys to really get back around. Miller slipped back there in the 77, lost the draft again. They're trying to get around the 60 machine of Ryan Trevino right there. Bryce Egan now out front in the 28 machine. Felix Mares multiple laps down. And then it's Michael Lewis in second. Eli Bright is third. Rogel Dorn's up here. Braden Perez as well. And Angel Gutierrez. We haven't talked about Angel at all this race. Here he is in 8th right now. These guys trying to get back in a line and get back to that lead draft. They're in a line. I don't think they've lost it quite yet. Here we go, coming to 7 laps to go in the Thanksgiving 500. Bryce Egan out front here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway.
First off, I just want to say I knew exactly what I was doing there. I think we're not done with lap traffic though. We're definitely gonna hit some more here. We'll see if that'll stack them up here. But yeah, now you got the 71, who's going to be a factor in who wins this thing, and is it going to be a factor for the win himself? So I don't know. We'll see what the 71 might play into that. As there's the 20, and it looks like a few guys are starting to catch that draft. I think as long as they stay in line, they may have a shot, but they may also need some lap traffic help once again.
And for the lead, Michael Lewis taking it away from Bryce Egan. And it's now 6 laps to go here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And keep in mind, like I said, Felix Maris multiple laps down. He cannot win this race. As you said, Andrew, could very well determine who wins this race here today. Also keep in mind that Ace Garcia may not be able to make it on fuel. Watch out for the 20 to maybe dive down the pit lane before this race is done. How about Eli Bright in the 94 machine here in the top 5? And Marcia Vebelis there in the 99, still in the top 5 as well. Yeah, Gutierrez making a move to the inside. An Indy 250 champion looking to join Nicholas Samadeo and Luke Rainey as drivers who have won the Indy 250 in the Thanksgiving 500. It's kind of a similar race, similar speeds, and Gutierrez is in his wheelhouse right now in that 43 machine. Baby Ruiz is back up here. Rogel Dorn is up here as well. Hubert's still here. Nicholas Samadeo still waiting in the wings right here, trying to rejoin this pack. And that time around, he gained 0.4 of a second. So Samadeo is not done either. And hey, Andrew, you're not done yet either. Andrew Miller still in this one, running 12th. But there's only 5 laps to go here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And Ace Garcia has taken the lead away from Michael Lewis here. But Felix Mayer still leading this pack multiple laps down.
Felix Mayer could definitely make it interesting for these guys. We've seen it even earlier in Lenovo Pro Series race. Lap cars can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. As 20 of Ace Garcia is going to try to get by the 71 there of Felix Mayer and maybe try and put a buffer between himself and the rest of the pack. And said rest of the pack is starting to grow a little bit as we're starting to get more and more cars catching up. You got the 26 Matthew Hubert back into this pack, as well as, like you mentioned, the 8 of Nicholas Samadeo. Also trying to make a very late charge at this race win. Here comes the 6. Michael Lewis trying to peek to the inside. Here comes the 99 of Vebels to try and help. As well as the 9 of Ruiz, who's going to take it 3 wide to the inside. And is going to get to the quarter panels. Going to make it stick as we go into 3 and 4. And Felix Mayer holding on to the 2nd position. And we got more lap traffic here coming off of 4.
Boy.
Oh, and that's going to hold up.
There.
And 20, here comes Michael Lewis.
Michael Lewis, 4 wide for the race lead, and he's going to take it away. BB Ruiz is here as well. And if we get a caution, we're at the point of no return, too. So Michael Lewis pulling away on the 6 machine. Ace Garcia held up by Josh Marzak just a little bit right there. These guys are going to join right back up, though, and close right back in on that 6 machine. And he's a sitting duck right now here, or a sitting turkey. Just stop me now. I had to. It was such an obvious one there. Well, hey, he's got a lead. He's got 2 laps to go next time by. Will he be able to hold these guys off? They're all getting back in the line right here. Still trying to get around Josh Marzak, the lap car, and Eli Bright's down. Eli Bright has run out of fuel. That's a tough break for Eli as it's 2 laps to go here in the
might not
Thanksgiving
make it.
500. Here comes Ace Garcia, looking to the inside of Michael Lewis, has all the help there on that inside lane.
20 might not make it,
20
though.
can make it, though.
Well, it's going to be the white flag next time by. You might as well go for it at this point. BB Ruiz is second. Matthew Hubert, Rogel Dorn. I think it's going to be one of these 5 at this point who get this Thanksgiving 500 race victory. Another lapped car. That's the 50 of Shane
boy.
Lake getting in the way. And BB Ruiz to the inside of Ace Garcia for the race lead as Garcia gets held up by the 50 machine. And Ruiz started on the pole for this race, is now pulling away as we come to the white flag here in the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. Ruiz ran out of gas. And so does Shane Lake. And now it's Matthew Hubert out front with the white flag in the Thanksgiving 500. Some of these guys running out, and even guys who came down the pit lane that last time by. Matthew Hubert out front. Michael Lewis is second. Braden Perez, Andrew Miller going 3 wide. Will they have enough to close in on this last lap? Matthew Hubert's got a full head of steam ahead of Michael Lewis, and Michael Lewis has no help behind him. We got drivers coming off the pit lane right here. Nicholas Samadeo trying to go 3 wide on these guys. They're too far behind to get anything to go their way, but will Hubert and Lewis have enough gas to make it to the end? Matthew Hubert, Michael Lewis, it's Matthew Hubert. It's going to be his second career win on the channel, and Matthew Hubert has won the 10th annual Thanksgiving 500 here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway.
Wow. Have you ever?
No, I've never.
Wow.
3rd, baby.
You got to be
Let's
happy
go,
about that
Andrew.
one. That's easily your best finish in this race. But Matthew Hubert,
Finish of the year.
that was a great run for Matthew Hubert. And this is a driver who next year in the Wawa Cup Series, there's going to be a lot of eyes on him driving for Team Velocity. Well, this was not a ratings race, but this is going to give him a lot of momentum going in to that 2025 Wawa Cup Series season. Matthew Hubert in the number 26 wins the 2024 Thanksgiving 500. And I think it's safe to say that Matthew Hubert will be back next year in this one as well. So we look forward to having you in 2025 for this race, Matthew. You're going to be in it. That was fun. And the fascinating aspect of that is that some drivers who stayed out were able to make it, and some drivers who came down under the last caution were not able to make it. The strategy was everywhere at the end right there. Such a tough break for BB Ruiz, who was coming to 2 laps to go and could not hold on. Actually, coming to the white flag and could not hold on. That was the white flag lap where he ran out of fuel there coming to the end. But Matthew Hubert, Michael Lewis held on to it. Andrew, you finished 3rd. I think that's the best you'll ever see in the booth. Live time, at least. You know, you're going to get a win at some point. You were calling your shot on Blaine Keys during the breaks right there. Nicholas Samadeo, Ace Garcia round out the top 5 here in this Thanksgiving 500. What a race, as it always is. I'm thankful for this one, and it's such a fun one each and every year. Wow. That's all I got to say. That was something else right there. Kept us on the edge of our seats right to the end, and Matthew Hubert gets it done here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway.
Yeah, I don't think that you could have asked for much more out of that. There was a lot of drama, of fuel strategy, some cautions that bunched the whole field back up. That last run went green somehow. I still cannot believe that they were able to traverse those few scenarios of 4 wide. Sorry, guys, for doing that to you. But no, I mean, obviously, I had no control over what was going on there. It's cool to finish 3rd, but I don't care. It was cool to be up here. I'm thankful to be up here. Thank you, Alex, for having me for this one. Caleb, that was awesome calling another race with you, man. That was so freaking awesome. I have not gotten that into commentating one of these offline races in quite a long time, because very rarely do they get down to it quite like that. So the 10th edition of this race, it delivered, and that was so freaking awesome to watch. I hope everyone that's watching this right now can just have some fun with it, and I'm sure everyone's kind of losing their minds over just how insane that was, because that was awesome. Thank you again I know you said at the beginning of this broadcast there are going to be a lot of thank yous. Well, today's the day for it, and I am grateful and thankful to be up here. Thank you, Alex, for what you do and for putting on this race. That was amazing.
Yes, feelings mutual, Andrew. Feelings mutual. I'm so happy to be up here and to commentate the race with you guys. That was so much fun to do. That was an absolutely incredible race. Had pretty much just about everything you could ask for. It had awesome racing. It had some great strategy, especially there towards the end. It got really interesting with all the different strategies coming into play. And, we had a bit of chaos sprinkled in. Nothing wrong with a little bit of that. But what a absolutely spectacular race. And, like I said pre-race, it's the 10th anniversary of this race. Why not make it the best one? And you know what? I think this race definitely has a strong argument for being probably one of the best races that we have had. But yeah, again, thank you all so much for having me up here. It's been an honor and a pleasure. And, I'm thankful that this has been such a great year for the channel. I'm happy to be able to do what I do and help you put on these races for all these guys. It's been a lot of fun, and hey, we're just getting started. 2025 is just around the corner. Definitely got a lot of interesting stuff going on behind the scenes. Gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, thank you both so much for everything, and man, that was a fun race.
It was, and then that's
cinema.
All we can thank for. Absolute cinema. You're right. Hey, it's good to see some absolute cinema, isn't it? Wow. So thankful to have a great race, as we always do here in the Thanksgiving 500. Obviously, want to put on a good show for everybody, and so you can have a great rest of your day. Obviously, we do this in the morning so that you all can spend the rest of your days with your families and be thankful for everything you've got, and this community is one of the biggest things I'm thankful for in my life. And, I've said it before quite a bit, said it at the end of the Wall Cup Series and that finale race. But to both of you specifically, Andrew, I've known you, of course, since 2017, and we are two of the closest friends now. Obviously, we hang out all the time. We went to Bristol together, had that whole road trip a couple months ago, had my bumper cover almost fly off on I-81. I'm paying for that right now, but you know what? You have been one of my best friends in my whole life, and I cannot thank you enough for all that you've done in my life and all the conversations and just being there during the bad times, and I can't thank you enough for all that, Andrew, and you're one of my best friends. And Caleb, you kind of came out of nowhere in a way. That's how a lot of these people, in the community come around in 2020, and I never thought that you would be the right-hand man on the channel. I cannot thank you enough for all that you do behind the scenes, putting on the Lenovo Pro Series, putting on the Haas IndyCar Series, and just jumping in. If I need something, it's like, yep, sure. You don't even hesitate to say no or say you can't do it. You do it every time. And I cannot thank you enough for just, being there and being able to put all this together for you guys. It is a big operation behind the scenes. And, Caleb and I kind of do things separately with our own stuff. But, the times that we do cross over, we both know. And I think, Caleb, you have learned just how much actually goes into this behind the scenes to put this all on for you guys. And I do it because I freaking love it. Yes, we do have the ads on the channel. We don't have ads for this race, though, because we got to put that Sam Spence track at the beginning and end. That's part of the Thanksgiving 500 at this point, and they don't let me monetize the video with that on there, but it doesn't matter. But, we have started making a little bit of money, but you know what? We've made, $20 in the past 2 months. It's not like we're funding my career right here. So I've done this completely out of my own enjoyment for the past decade now, and I continue and anticipate to continue doing it that way as well because I absolutely love it. And what makes it so great? It's people like you, Andrew, people like you, Caleb, and people like the rest of you who sign up for this race and watch these races each and every week. You guys make it what it is, and it is such an incredible blessing, and I never would have thought that this would have happened in my life, but I could not have asked for anything better. I genuinely mean that. And you guys are wonderful. You guys mean the world to me. And thank you once again for such a great running of this Thanksgiving 500. Such a great year on the channel, as Caleb said as well. This has grown to be a lot bigger than I ever thought it would be. It continues to grow. It is as popular as it ever has been on this channel, which, is incredible considering that this game is going to be 22 years old next February. that is incredible. I am still older than the game, though. I'm glad and I'm proud to be able to say that. I was alive when the game first came out, but you would never think it. A 22-year-old video game that has been modded, and there's so many people behind it as well that don't really get mentioned. The people who make these mods, the people who make these custom tracks and all that, they do a lot that has been able to support this part of the NR community for so many years, and they don't get mentioned enough, and they don't get credit enough. So, shout out if you see a track, give those people a shout out. They do a lot for this community because they love it as well. So, it's a lot of people that actually make this what it is, and I'm just sitting here yelling in front of the mic. But hey, thank you so much for watching. I'll let you guys get to the rest of your day. Enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday, and if you're not in the States, just enjoy your day as well. And hey, reflect to be thankful for what you got as well. That's the point of Thanksgiving. That's what I like about it. And like I said, so much to be thankful for, especially with this community. And I can't thank you guys enough for all that you've done. What a race here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. Matthew Hubert with the race victory. And once again, another exciting race here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. We'll be back here next year. And we're excited for it because next year is the 10th anniversary of the channel. April 1st, 2025. It's no April's Fool Days joke here on the channel. That is going to be the 10th anniversary race. That is the next true big one that we've got coming up, and that's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to see a lot of great names in that one. We're excited for that one. Both of you guys are going to be in that race as well, of course. Can't wait for it. But hey, thank you so much for watching. Final thoughts, guys. I've talked enough here tonight. And final thoughts on this race, final thoughts on the day, and happy Thanksgiving.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, man. And I'll just say this in regard to what you were just saying. Thank you for sticking with me as well for as many years as you have. Getting to be able to hang out with you and knowing that we're as close as we are geographically, it is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm very grateful to have you as pretty much a brother at this point. Thank you. The race was absolutely fantastic, really, from start to finish. There was something going on. There was something to talk about pretty much throughout. That was an incredible final, was that probably 8 laps at least of action there to wrap it up. Very, very, I would say, deserving winner there with Matthew Hubert. Great to see. And of course, yeah, Michael Lewis, a great finish there. And hey, Mr. Edge still up there in 4th. Managed to pull through a fantastic finish there. So credit to those guys. I just got lucky.
Hey, you still beat Nico Samadia. That's an impressive feat right there.
By one spot, you know what? Yeah, that's something. And in regard to Blaine, please don't kill me. Assuming that clip actually gets posted.
Oh, we're saying that. You called your shot, man. We're posting that. We can't not post that.
There's some
we had the mic rolling. We can't not post that.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and I had fun with this. Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone watching.
Yeah, again, just such a fun race. I'm really happy that we get to do this every year. Come together as a community and put on a spectacular show. And like I said, this year is absolutely no different. Absolutely cinematic race that we just saw. Like I said, had just about everything you could ask for in a race. On top of that, a great win from Matthew Hubert. Nice to see him go to victory lane here in this one. But still, thank you both so much for everything that you've done. I mean, 4 years ago when I first got into this community, I never thought that I'd be sitting here right now with you guys 4 years later, and we've met face to face now. Never thought that we would come to that, but it has, and it has been such a fun ride, and I can't wait to see how the future goes from here. But yeah, thank you both so much. So thankful for you guys, and I hope you both have an awesome Thanksgiving.
And I hope you at home are having a great Thanksgiving as well, because you've heard us talk about it quite enough. We're done. We're going to let you get to the rest of your day. Let you get to some football and some family and some friends and some food, That's what Thanksgiving is all about, is being thankful for all that we've got. Thank you so much for watching, once again, as always. Hey, tomorrow night, actually tonight, we got qualifying for the Menards 225, and the Turkey Hill Truck Series is getting interesting over there. And tomorrow night, of course, is the Menards 225 over there in the Truck Series, and then it's only 3 races after that until we crown a champion on Christmas Day over there, so watch out for that. 4 races left to go, 19 points between Blaine Keys and Nicholas Samadeo. Got a little interesting there at Road America last week, but it's going to be a great fight to the finish. And hey, Caleb, I know you got the Lenovo Pro Series as well. I know you got Carson Miller and Stuart Gratton going after it, so check that out over the week as well. And you've also got the Christmas Eve Showdown coming up. Run very similarly to the Thanksgiving 500, so keep an eye on the Discord for signups for that race. That race will be run on Christmas Eve, of course, before the Truck Series finale. But thank you so much for watching once again. A huge thanks to Andrew Miller and Caleb Rose for joining me here today. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your day and be thankful for what you got, because we've got a lot of great stuff here in this community, and I can't thank you guys enough for all that you've done for me here over the past 10 years. Congratulations to Matthew Hubert on his race victory here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, and I will see you guys later. Well, a lot of guys have won on their first start in this race, so you have no excuse.
Hey, considering how I'm doing in the Truck Series, I mean, I just suck.
Well, see, there you actually have control over it.
And I think I've figured it out, and I'm gonna do it for the Cup Series, and I think I got it figured out. I'm coming for you, Blaine.
Wow, he's going after Blaine, everybody.
Oh,
That's
and
wow, he's taking his shot right there.
the Andrew Miller 2025 Wawa Cup Series
Please tell me you're
run
not
is going to be
posting
generational.
I am still recording, and you know what? We've had some great lines here that we might do some outtakes.
If you post this as like a short or something, Blaine is going to murder me.
He's not good. Blaine's a
He's
chill
still
dude.
funny.
He's going to murder me on the racetrack is what's going to happen.